Hello everyone, welcome to episode 20. We are reviewing and doing the second part of the awesome virtue of wonder. And I thought we'd start with a few words from a resident expert who happens to be visiting at the moment.
Hello everyone.
Amaya, do you like to look at things?
Yes.
Do you like to explore things and touch them and everything? You know what I would call you?
What?
A mini scientist.
Well,
Do you feel like that sometimes?
sometimes I like to be a painter and a ballerina
Mm-hmm.
because they're my favorite.
Okay. So that was a few words from our temporary resident expert on wonder. We spoke before about how wonder can be described as a state of excited amazement, which it is. And we talked about how important it is to both our spiritual and our mental health. We also talked about how if you're not feeling this virtue, if you feel uninspired or kind of flat emotionally, it's probably either because you're so committed and so busy with your day-to-day life that you haven't made the time or taken the time or felt it was important to take the time to cultivate the virtue of wonder, or you're bored or you've become indifferent, nothing excites you, you are cynical. Either one of those extremes is not good. And so we're going to talk about ways that we cultivate this virtue. We also mentioned that children exemplify this virtue. Everything is new to them. They want to know about everything, and they're looking carefully at everything. So they are experts, and we can learn a lot from them. Our challenge is not to become children necessarily, but to become childlike or feed our inner child, to use the popular lingo. And we're going to look at ways to do that. I just want to mention also, though, that child development researchers often refer to children as mini scientists because of this wonderful gift that they naturally have and that we hope to get back to. So what are some of the ways that we can cultivate this virtue? One way is just to consider ourselves as beginners again and think of it as everything around us being new again. You can start by taking an object like a plant and observing it carefully and slowly and noticing things like the geometry of how the leaves sprout from the stem, the shape of the leaves, the texture of the leaves, what do the edges of the leaves look like? And then move on to another plant and observe the same thing, and you'll be struck by the diversity of creation and just the marvel of how everything is put together. If you feel like a bit more of a challenge, then take a look maybe at the people close around you and look at them as though you've never met them before and they're completely new to you. Notice things like the shape of their face, the shape of their eyes, the size of their hands, the tone of their voice. Notice all these things about them, their mannerisms. It's wonderfully revealing. Another thing you can do that's great fun is to go on a wonder walk. Maybe take your family or your friends with you and go to some area as though you've never been there before and take a look for things that you never noticed before maybe. You can even keep a list of those things. Another wonderful thing to do is invite some people together to watch the moon rise, just to sit in silence and celebrate the beauty of that moment. Or if you have a season of the year where the trees are flowering or changing colors, have a picnic and invite everybody to sit and just enjoy the splendor of it all. I live on the island of Antigua, for example, and just recently the flamboyant trees here were in bloom. The structure of the blossom is mind-blowing. So you've got to slow down. You've got to take a look at all these things. You've got to observe carefully. The more carefully you observe, the more open you are to learning new things. And the more open you are to learning new things, the more you feel alive and fabulous. This is a joyful virtue. If you've been lucky enough to read the book The Color Purple or see the movie The Color Purple, then you might remember the line from which the title is taken. And it's a scene where the two main characters are walking together in a field and there are wildflowers blooming. And one of them says, "Oh, look at that color. Look at that color purple." I think God gets really pissed off if we don't notice the color purple. That's it exactly. Before we return to our resident expert, who has a few more words for you. Actually, she has a lot, but we had to edit. I'd like to leave you with a couple of beautiful quotes that I found on this subject. One is by Rebbe Nachman of Breslov, who wrote in the book The Gentle Weapon, a meditative prayer. "Open my eyes, O God, to the marvels that surround me. Show me the wonder of each breath I take, of my every thought, word, and movement." And the second quote is from Thich Nhat Hanh, I'm sure I've mispronounced his name, from his book Call Me by My True Names. "I join my hands in thanks for the many wonders of life, for having 24 brand new hours before me." Let's use our next brand new 24 hours meaningfully and cultivate the healing and joyful virtue of wonder. Thanks for being with me today. Hope you enjoyed it. Do you want to say anything to people about how important it is to look around and do things and touch things?
Well, I like to just touch flowers, touch chalk. And when I cut things, I like to just glue them like triangles and
beautiful.
circles. But I think there was put a hand in the sticker and just see it and just draw things.
How wonderful.
If anyone knows how I like doing stuff I like making stuff like trees, plants, and I like taking care of people.
How wonderful.
Like babies or people. I can do all sorts of things.
That
I love
is
my
great.
teachers, I love my friends and my babies, everything.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for being with me on my video.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too. My name is Amaya, and I like to draw hands, and I like to just stick them. I see the way that I like to dance. I know everything that's like a circle. I know ballerinas and princesses and fairies. And I like everything except you and us. I miss all my friends and my daddy. But if you see, I love everyone here and everyone to you and me. I see everything to you. And if you see me too, I love everyone here to you. Thank you.